Hi, welcome to the Business Recovery Series Marketing Tips for LBEs webinar. My name is Lila Zembrung, and I will be your host for today. Now I would like to introduce Jennifer Elmore.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us on this Veterans Day. My name is Jennifer Elmore. I'm the Project Manager at Merriwether Williams Insurance Services, or MWIS. MWIS works with small and emerging contractors to build their technical assistance capacity by offering webinars such as this one and one-on-one consultations through the City and County of San Francisco Contractor Development Program and the Alameda County Technical Assistance Program. We're here to assist small and emerging businesses with their needs through our programs. We provide a wide range of free support services such as bonding, CAP, marketing, technical assistance, pre-qualification, under others to be named. You can contact us via email at cdp@imwis.com or CTAP, CTAP@imwis.com for more information or further assistance. You can also, from the email that you receive with the workshop evaluations, you'll have our contact information. MWS is excited today to introduce Kenneth Hyman, Account Manager at MWS, who will be presenting an overview of marketing for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm Ken Hyman. I'm an account manager in the San Francisco office, and I've been working with Merriwether and Williams since the beginning of the year. My background is actually in communications, public relations, and marketing. I've worked as a corporate communications specialist, director of communications, and a marketing coordinator, so I have a pretty good background in marketing. You should know that there's not too much info on the slides themselves, so you're either going to want to take some notes or refer to the video presentation once we post it on YouTube. And I know that a lot of this may sound familiar to some of you, but if you can walk away from this webinar with just one thing, maybe two things that you can put in practice, it will have been worth it. And as Jennifer said, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know that some of you may be off because of Veterans Day, and we really appreciate you being here. So having said that, I'd like to get into the presentation. I'll do a share screen. So what are you selling? Surprisingly, you're not really selling your services, you're selling yourself. What sets you apart from the competition? Is it the fact that you've installed 3,000 sheets of drywall, that you've always delivered on time and under budget, or that maybe you've worked on a $5 million project for the City and County of San Francisco or Alameda? It's really all about the branding, and you can see here, we've got our brand up in the corner there and also on every slide. So you need to be thinking about that too, especially when you get to the point where you want to make your own slide presentation to a prime or another subcontractor. Let's move on here. This is an old saying, almost a cliche, that when times are good, you should advertise or market, and when times are bad, you must advertise or market. So what does this mean? It means that you must work even harder and perhaps increase your marketing budget during difficult times. I know we're coming out of COVID, which was a difficult period for business to be sure, but you can't count on the good times lasting forever. So that's where marketing comes in. You may reason that you can't afford it, but it will pay off in the long run when you get more jobs, your name is known and recommended among primes. Let's go on here. Okay, wise guys, so how much should I spend on my marketing and advertising? I'm glad you asked. The Small Business Administration recommends that small businesses with revenues less than 1 million should dedicate 7 to 8% of their revenues towards marketing. So for $1 million, that's $70,000 to $80,000. if you're $100,000, we're talking about $7,000 to $8,000, and 5% of your budget may be more realistic. If you're trying to build your brand right away, you may want to think about spending 10 to 20% of your sales on marketing. You may also want to try to get creative and co-opt with another LBE. For instance, if you're a plumbing service, you may want to partner with an electrician and offer your services together as a package and market together to cut down costs. I haven't seen it done that often, but I think that it's a really good strategy. So craft a direct message and define your audience. Define your target audience, craft a message for them, and make sure they see the message. For the construction industry, you want to ask yourself several questions. What trades do you specialize in? Are you a one-man LBE? Are you a drywall company with 10 people in your office? Do you usually work in residential or commercial? Then next, paint a picture of who your dream client is. How old are they, or how long have they been around? How big is their company? And once you have your dream client in mind, you have your target audience, and you can sell to the general public, to a larger contractor, to a prime, to the city and county. And talk about the message. What do you want to convey? So some things to think about. Let's go on to the next slide. If you want to effectively market, you really need to put together a content creation team. And this team consists of the following: a written word person, someone who's good in putting words together and doing editorial content, a data analyst strategist to look over the data and the feedback that you're getting, video content editor, someone who can put together videos that you can use to market your projects, and a designer to put together brochures or design your website or even your business cards. As a subcontractor, it's essential that you create and distribute content to attract attention. You don't have to hire 4 different people. One person may be able to handle all 4 tasks. You can also go to a marketing agency. Other resources are available. I know that you can go to local colleges and universities to get an intern in social media. And boy, these youngsters are really sharp at it. And it's usually low cost, no cost. So think about that. Let's go to the next slide. I mentioned social media, so let's get into that for a minute here. You're aware of these social media apps, I'm sure: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Social media is a remarkably good way to reach your audience because it's cheap and free. 69% of all adults use Facebook. You can really brand your company this way. You can also use lots of videos of finished work or projects that you're currently working on. If you want to go to the next level on Facebook, you can also boost your posts to reach an even wider audience, and it's pretty cheap. You can also post on Instagram, which is a good short format, and it's very photo and video friendly. Picture says 1,000 words, of video probably 10,000. Post content on LinkedIn to make business connections. If you're not involved with LinkedIn now, I say sign up. It's quick and easy. It's a very organic way, and the more you post, the greater the odds that people will share that information. You can also use Twitter. Twitter can be a helpful platform for growing a following and providing your audience with valuable content before they even become customers. The character limit can also help you create quick and compelling advertisements, like a shout out to a webinar your business is conducting, like this one. Your primary focus should be on attracting an audience with useful content and growing brand awareness. Additionally, you can use Twitter to connect your audience in personal and meaningful ways. If someone mentions one of your products or services, you can like or retweet their comment. Let's go on. So e-newsletters, I love these newsletters. They're usually pretty quick and easy. You can reach a really wide audience. It's not that costly to use one of these applications. I've got up here Constant Contact and MailChimp. There are many others. You can use the basic MailChimp for free. The advantages, as shown here, is it's low cost, you reach a wider audience, and you can promote engagement. Have people engage with you, Q&A, other content that they may be interested in, tips, tricks of the trade, that sort of thing. You can also gather analytics on who is opening your email, what they're most interested in, and that will drive content. You can also drive the viewer to your website or other content on the web through the links that you provide in your e-newsletter. Search engine optimization. This involves having others place links to your website on their website. And I mentioned Google AdWords here because Google AdWords will advertise your business at the top of the page in the form of an ad when someone does a search for you. You usually have to pay for this, but it's not a great expense overall and may be worth it in the long run. So the more links you have on other sites, the higher your ranking on Google search. You can also search local SEO services. Google AdWords, I mentioned. Also check, I want to mention Yelp as well, which is pretty much a business review site. You're probably familiar with it. I think Yelp is a good way to get good reviews about your business out there. You can have your customer post favorable reviews online. In some rare instances, customers may not post favorable reviews, but you do have the opportunity to respond to that and maybe even have it removed if you make a good argument to Yelp. So something to think about. Let's move on here. I want to give you this list of community resources, and I suggest you get involved with them. I know it may be hard to read on your screen, but we'll provide you with a copy of this presentation so you can keep this list handy. I especially like the chambers of commerce that are listed here, the San Francisco Chamber. There's an Asian American Contractors Association, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. This is a really good way to network, hopefully attend mixers in the near future. Some of this stuff's being done virtually, but you need to get involved so that you can create that network and reach out to potential customers and have people kind of serve as recommendations for your services in the future. It's very organic. Let me move on here. So this is a list of city and government resources. And I also recommend that you get involved with these resources as well. There's a Small Business Administration listed up at the top, and they can help guide you through some marketing efforts. Small Business Development Center, Renaissance Bayview, which some of you are probably familiar with. Go and check these out and see what they have to offer in the way of marketing and promoting your business. So what can Merriwether and Williams do for you? Many of you are involved with us now, and we put together a cut sheet / brochure for you, which really outlines and highlights all of your services. We also will help you put together a PowerPoint presentation, which I mentioned earlier, you may be presenting to a prime. We'll also help you review your website through our consultation services with experts. We can help guide you through the process, and they'll review your website and make recommendations. This is really critical to have your website easy to navigate with things such as testimonials and pictures and contact information. So usually the first stop for people who are interested in your services. We will also help introduce you to primes, which is, I know, a plum for you guys. And we will help you draft a business plan based on a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're happy to do that for you. And obviously, we want to see you succeed in your efforts. So I want to thank you for attending. You can see the contact information in the lower left-hand corner. And as Jennifer mentioned, we can be contacted at cdp@imwis.com. There's a telephone number, a fax if anyone uses that anymore, and our website. So once again, thank you for being with us. I do encourage you to ask a question or two at this point. Are there a couple of questions up there?
No questions
No
yet.
questions yet? Okay, let me talk about social media too. I know, I'm not a social media expert, but it is a powerful tool to market your business. And as I said, it is low cost to no cost. So you really should be involved with that. And if you don't have the time, and I know many of you don't because you're quite busy with projects, I would engage the services of a social media manager. They're not that costly. And like I said, you can probably find an intern at one of the local colleges who will be willing to do it. And like I said, boy, these guys are sharp. They know the latest tricks and ins and outs of social media. But really, you do need to engage in that. I haven't seen a Yellow Pages for a while. Everyone's going to the internet to get their information to make contact with your services. So yeah, really kind of double down on social media. I would recommend, especially Facebook.
Hey, Ken, one of the things I've heard is that a lot of social media is about driving folks to your website, like trying to get them someplace where there's a lot of information about your company. Does that ring true for you?
Yeah, I would say that that's one of the goals, but it's being used to promote engagement more and more. In my last position, they used it to engage users in contests. Um, but when people want it to get more information, especially if it's free. So
Mhm.
I think that's the power of it. And you it's all organic too. You reach out, you make connections, and those people connect with other people. So it's true, it does drive it just does drive traffic to your website, but I think there are multiple uses for it. And I talked about advertising too,
Mhm.
and that's fairly effective. You may not like it when you go on Facebook, but it pays the bills, and it gets your name out there. So and it's surprisingly inexpensive.
Hi, we do have a question. So, a question that we have is, if you're not very tech savvy, how would you go about getting an intern?
uh
Savvy, yeah.
yeah, I would contact the communications department.
Hi, thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate it. Sounds good. I just had a few concluding announcements, or just a few reminders. We do have a upcoming Contractor Technical Assistance Program newsletter coming up, so look out for that. That's in the works. And definitely make sure that you visit our YouTube channel. We have a lot more trainings and videos on our YouTube channel, prior business recovery series, videos and trainings, educational resources from many topics. So definitely tune in to our YouTube channel. In addition to that, I did want to take the time to thank everybody, everyone who presented, Ken and Jennifer, as well as all the attendees for attending, especially on Veterans Day. Thank you for taking the time to learn about marketing. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.